Good morning, Year 9. I hope you're well and having a lovely day. For this lesson, you will need a copy of the extract from Act 1, Scene 1, or a copy of the whole play if you have one, access to YouTube to watch a clip of the scene, as well as a summary of the scene's events to help you, and different coloured pens or highlighters. Please could you write the date and the title of Lesson 2, Beatrice and Benedict. So pause the video now to make sure you've done everything that you need to do. Okay, so for you to do now, what I'd like you to do is finish these pairs. Beatrice and who, Claudio and who, Don John and who, and Dogberry and who. So the first one should be very easy. The other ones you should be able to get to. So please pause the video for 5 minutes to do that now. So these are the answers: Benedict, Hero, Don Pedro and Verges. What I'd like you to do next is to write down your first impressions of the characters after watching this scene where we see the two characters interact for the first time. So please pause the video to watch the YouTube clip and then write down your first impressions of the characters. So, what's the history of this relationship? I'd like you to spend 3 minutes making notes on this. So before we see Benedict on stage in the scene, Beatrice has been very rude about him. She calls him Senior Montano, meaning someone who thinks highly of himself. She says to a messenger that she had promised to eat every person that Benedict killed, implying that she didn't think him a very worthy soldier. She also suggests that he will be an annoying friend to Claudio. Oh Lord, he will hang upon him like a disease. Leonardo describes their relationship as there being a kind of merry war betwixt Sir Benedict and Beatrice. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them. We see this exchange in the first argument. This battle of words shows their similarities, as they compete to be the most quick-witted when replying. In this argument, we also get some clues that there is a history to this relationship when Beatrice says, "I know you of old." We also know that when they take an interest in one another, even though they might profess not to like each other. Even when Beatrice tells Benedict, "Nobody marks you," she is listening to him. It's often described as a love-hate relationship. They have arguments that some could describe as flirtations, because they like to battle with one another. So please can you pause the video to make sure you've noted down the key points on the slide. Okay, so what I'd like to do is match up the first column and the second column. So you've got pernicious, disdain, predestinate, courtesy, jade's trick, turncoat, and parrot teacher. So match up these definitions with the second column in red. Okay, so please can you make sure you've written out both the words in the first column and their corresponding definitions in the second column. So pernicious means destructive. Disdain is looking down your nose at someone you think is beneath you. Predestinate is something decided in advance, like fate. Courtesy is being polite. Jade's trick, a badly behaved horse that slips its head out of its collar and escapes. Turncoat, a traitor or betrayer, and parrot teacher, a person who teaches meaningless chat. So can you work out what they're saying in this argument? Use your word match-up definitions and have a go at writing a modern version of this argument. So please pause the video for 10 minutes to do this. So this is the kind of thing you should have come up with. If you are struggling, please make a note of the main gist of this argument. So I'm amazed that you're still speaking, Benedict. Nobody's listening. Oh, hello, Miss Disrespect. Are you still alive? How can I stop being disrespectful when you're here? Even politeness would become disrespect if you're around. Then politeness is a traitor. But all girls love me except you. I wish I could love them back, but I have a naturally hard heart. That's lucky for women everywhere, otherwise I'd have you following them around. But I'm like you. I hate hearing men say I love you. I hope you stay like that, to stop men getting their faces scratched. Scratching men would probably improve a face like yours. How original. I'd rather be unoriginal than a stupid animal like you. I wish my horse was as quick as you are and kept going like you do. But anyway, I'm going. That's just like you to run off when I'm not finished. I've known you for ages. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is read the argument from extract 1.1. Use two colours to highlight the scene. In one colour, how does Benedict describe Beatrice? In another colour, how does Beatrice describe Benedict? So spend 5 minutes doing that now. So, how does Benedict describe Beatrice? Lady disdain, someone who might scratch, a parrot teacher, and quick-witted. And Beatrice describes Benedict, food for disdain, a pernicious suitor, a face so ugly that it couldn't be made worse by scratching it, rude with language, makes beasts rather than her birds, and then a trickster too. So make sure you've noted this down. Next, I'd like you to choose at least 2 of your quotations to explore. Write down the quotation and what you think it suggests about how the speaker feels about the other person. Is it possible disdain should die, while she hath such food to feed it as Senor Benedict? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain if you come in her presence. So this is an example of a quote explosion. So this metaphor suggests she is embodying the characteristic of disdain, meaning disgust, looking down at someone. Benedict described as food to feed disdain, metaphor suggesting that he creates lots to be disgusted by. Personification of other characteristics like courtesy, suggesting that even politeness would become disdain if around Benedict. Convert shows extreme change, showing the effect Benedict would have, emphasizing disgust. Suggests that Beatrice is going over the top for a reason here. It's excessive to be this rude, so she must have strong feelings about Benedict. Okay, so Beatrice and Benedict, what do they have in common? Read over the notes you have on the extract and the way the two characters describe each other. Can you identify similarities between them? For a challenge, look out for how their language echoes each other as they make puns and plays with words. So pause the video for 5 minutes to do this. Okay, so both are proud of their quick-witted natures. Both suggest they want to remain single, and both make a big deal of being rude to the other. Okay, so finally let's have a reflection. Who is Benedict and who is Beatrice? Create a character profile for each of them, jotting down key details you know so far. You could draw a picture to go with them if you like. Try to include quotations. For a challenge, write a paragraph describing your thoughts about the relationship between them in this first scene. Make sure you've included evidence. So pause the video for 10 minutes to do that now. Okay, so that's the end of today's lesson. Well done for your work today. Next time we'll be focusing on another part of this first scene where Claudio and Benedict discuss marriage. If you would like to read ahead of the scenes you'll be looking at, it's a good idea to use No Fear Shakespeare. It's a modern website that has the original text side by side with a modern translation. So thank you for your work today, and I'll see you next time.